Hello everyone, I'm Sunnylex and the day has come. Welcome to my studio. Um, I'm not sure if anyone's watching already, but I'm going to share this live stream on my Facebook page. How are you doing, guys? Yeah, some people are watching. Awesome. Wow. Good to see you all, guys. So this is my studio and welcome. And today is the day. My latest release is came out today. It's called So Long and Obsydian. It's my new EP on Anjunabeats. And probably some of you don't even know who is this guy and what is he doing at the Anjunabeats Facebook page and what's happening. So let me introduce myself. I'm Sunnylex. I'm a Hungarian trance producer or songwriter, and actually I'm releasing my music for more than 10 years on Anjunabeats, and my first single was Puma in 2005 or 2006, which is more than 12 years ago. And I'm so lucky that since then they are still supporting me, and I'm so thankful for the whole Anjunabeats crew and for Above and Beyond that since then they are seeing the opportunity in my music. It feels great. I'm so thankful to them and to you all, guys. It's amazing because I'm just amazed at about the constant huge support on my music. And still sometimes I can't even believe it's happening, but it's so great. So all right, I decided to make this studio live stream today because of the new EP is coming out today. Actually, I thought it would be interesting to show the project, how I made it, how I made the sounds, the melodies, stuff like that. But maybe it's not even that interesting just for some producers or something. But actually, I'm going to read the chat as well. So actually, you can ask me anything about anything, not just music related, but honestly, I'm interested in any kind of topic. So if you have any questions, just fire it, and I'm trying to answer as soon as possible. Wow, there's so many. Oh, guys, it's awesome to see you all. Seriously. I hope it works good. Actually, I made a couple of live streams before, but it's a bit different. But I think it's good. I'm sorry, I'm married already. I mean, I'm not sorry because I love my wife, but it means I can't marry you anymore. I'm from Hungary, near to Budapest. I live in a small city. Alright, guys, so this is the project of So Long. which I played last year's ABGT 250, and I'm sorry, I'm just reading the chat, and it's you are so active, and it's amazing. So great to see some familiar names and faces. Yeah, Dream State was amazing. Alright, so this is the project of so long, and it's not gonna be easy if I'm going to read the messages too. Alright, so it's actually not so complex as you see. It's just a 45 channels, which is not a big deal. My project usually stands about more than 100 channels, so it's much below the average number of channels. But sometimes it's just good to keep it simple. There's a kick drum. Okay, let's listen to it first. Alright, so this is basically the song, and I posted earlier today on my Facebook that this was the very first track after I've been told that I'm going to play an ABGT 250, and I started to play something on the piano, and this melody ID just came in, and it sounds cheesy, but this is really happened. I closed my eyes and I tried to imagine myself on the gorge stage in front of 25,000 people, and I tried to imagine what would be the best possible melodies and chord progressions to hear on that exact same moment, and this was kind of the inspiration of this song. And I think it has that kind of vibe, if you think about it. Maybe not, but it has that vibe to me. So it was just incredible that a couple of months later I really played this song for you guys, for 25,000 people at the Gorge in Seattle, and just mind-blowing. For a simple guy like me, it's just a huge dream came true. And this track basically a proof of that dream, or something like that. All right, let's try to not be so emotional. But the thing is, in the same time, I tried to. I actually really loved the tech trancey kind of tracks back in the days, and I kind of miss this sound lately. I mean, there is some faster kind of release which has the tech trance vibe, but my plan was to do something really old school tech trancey groove to it, so that's why there is some tech trancey synth. It's so simple. It's just a saw wave. It's not a big deal, but it just has, especially with the bass line. I try to keep the bass lines really simple. So it's a very simple groove actually. It's quite repetitive. But the thing is, my conception was to make many small details, small variations with glitchy effects, glitchy variations. So I made a bunch of different variations with different effects on it, and that's why these kind of sounds, I made these like these are more like small spice on top or something like that, because if I play with the original simple bass line, it becomes something more interesting. And actually, to be honest, this sounds really bad, because my workflow is about, let's make the track's arrangement, and let's finish it musically first, and then I'm actually usually exporting all the stems separated, and I drop into all of them into a new project and start a whole new mixing session where I focus on the whole track only to the sonical parts, like the balances, how I should EQ different sounds and stuff like that. So I think, in my opinion, it's a whole different thing than making music, but it's also important in electronic dance music because you need to sound really banging on the dance floors or at festivals, and it's not so easy to achieve. It's actually a whole science. So I try to separate these kind of parts in my workflow. That's why this part is when I finish the musical part of the song, and the arrangement and all that, but it still sounds really weak because the balances and everything, the connection of the bass line and the kick drum is just really bad. So, but actually, this is the part where you actually see what I used. For example, for the bass line, I used a silent, it's actually just a pure silent bass line, and Serum. It's actually one of the presets from my own sound set, in the Spire as well. I pretty much use my own sound set because maybe some of you know that I'm a sound designer as well, so sometimes I do sound set or sample libraries, because it's really important to have your own unique sounding, in my opinion. So yeah, so the groove is really simple actually, and this tech trancey stabby so wave gives so much to the whole groove. I felt like I need to dance to this groove when I made it. And again, it will be so repetitive alone, but I actually made some glitchy variations like this. I'm sure you wouldn't really notice these kind of small details in the mix, but the point is not to notice them, but it just makes the whole thing more detailed, more layered, which is a huge difference compared to many releases, I guess. Because I feel sometimes I spend like a day just putting small details in a track, but it's really worth it because those small details make the biggest differences in the music. All right, guys. Actually, most of my sound sets and sample libraries are on freshly squeezed samples. One of my latest actually just came in today as well, on freshly squeezed, a kick sample. I know it sounds like a shameless self-promotion, so I will stop it now, but I worked on it really much. So, in my opinion, it's really important to spend time to make the small details, to make it even better and make it even more interesting. Actually, it was quite interesting. I made a couple of live streams. I tried to make a new track only on live streams, and I finished it in around 20 hours, all in live streams. And when I watched it back, it was so interesting because I actually made the almost I made like the 80% of the track in the first 3 or 4 hours, and I spent like 15 hours to polish it and to make the rest 20% of the track, which is quite interesting in my opinion. It wouldn't really make sense, but it still does, because that's how it's gonna be a good track, I think. Oh yeah, how my name. Yeah. What do you think? My name came from the LAX airport, because I was like 13 years old or something when I decided to use this name, this artist name, and I imagine myself that one day I'm gonna be famous and I will travel around the world, and I'm going to travel through the sunny LAX airport in Los Angeles, and that's why it comes from there. Actually, it happened couple of times already. I'm still not famous. But I'm famous enough to do a live stream for you all guys, and I'm really happy with that. And thanks for watching me, actually. My plan was to spend around 30 minutes on this live stream, and I'm managing it really bad because more than 20 already gone and I didn't really do anything. But I just hope you're still quite entertained. I'm on Cubase 9.5. Alright, let me just read some of your questions, because I would love to communicate with you guys, just not so easy. Alright, my sidechain I use lately like envelope shapers. The most simple one is Nicky Romero's Kickstart, which is it's so simple. And yeah, but sometimes you need to sidechain the frequencies separated, because sometimes just some of the sounds start to lose its character. It happened actually with this song as well, because in last minute my best A&R Gareth told me I should boost the bass line in the drop section, and I added another bass line and it was too fat, too wide, too loud probably, so I sidechained it much more than everything else, and he told me actually it sounds good, it's really beefy, but the sound started to lose its character because of the too much sidechain. So I think you need to be careful, and sometimes it's just better to sidechain the low frequencies separated. Actually, Volume Shaper is a great tool for that, because you can separate the frequency range. So yeah, it depends on the situation. Alright, so there's the melody section. nice to see that Genix is in the chat as well. Bro, I love you so much. You are my hero, honestly. Can't wait to see your face finally. So in the melody section, it's just so simple, just a couple of pad sounds, mostly from Spire, mostly my own presets. I love this one actually. In my opinion, Spire is the best tool for the wide super soul leads and for these kind of fatty pads as well. The quality is amazing, so that's why I use it so much. And in the drop section as well, it's mostly my own presets from my own sound sets. This one is, again, it's my own. I think it's a quite interesting plucky sound, and which is more important, it fits really well with the super soul leads. Just don't really clash with each other, which is more important. So actually I try to keep it as simple as possible this time. I'm not really good at it, to be honest. Sometimes my projects are becoming a huge mess in more than 100 channels. But it's 45, it's like mind-blowing. But to be honest, for example, like these small glitchy variations of the intro bassline. Sometimes it's just like 5 different channels merged together, so it's kind of tricky, but it's still really simple in my opinion. So this is so long. It came out today on Beatport, iTunes, Spotify, everywhere pretty much. Really appreciate if you grab it and supporting my music. It means a lot to me, and thank you really much for that. Alright, I think I have time for the Obsydian track as well, because and I'm reading some of your questions. I'm trying. I don't even know what's the order of the comments. Any tips on making trance chords? It's a tough one. I don't really have any tips. Just play what your ears really like, something what gives goosebumps for you, or but makes you emotional. Sometimes it's hard to explain, and it's not really the science part of the music, in my opinion. I start all my projects with a piano sound, with a pure piano sound, and start to mess around with the piano, play something, play anything. And there's always a certain point when I play something what I really like. I'm like, wow, that's good. And I start to repeat that and start to tweak, start to build from there. But there is the exact sparkle in the, you can call it inspire or anything, but I think it's important to make something which makes you emotional. The chords are really important. I think it's more important than the sound design or than the overall mixing, because you can fix it. You can fix if your song tells something meaningful, even if just an instrumental song. If it has some message, it's much easier to make it much punchier sonically. You can't really go far with a sonically good song without any emotions. Yeah, less is definitely more, almost always. It's just much more important to do with less layers what you want to reach. But it's the hardest part to make the same impact with less channels, with less tools in your hands. Sometimes it's actually the hardest part of making music, in my opinion, or just to find the perfect balance between the not too much and not too less. My last track took me like 25 to 30 hours to finish it from the very first. And usually I think it's like the work time. So I spent like 3 or 4 weeks making the same track, but actually I calculated the working time and it became like 25 or 30 hours overall. But it depends. Sometimes I spent a month on a track and it just became worse and worse. And usually my experience that the faster I finish something, the better it becomes. That's the rule for me, or that's what I experienced. Sometimes it's much better just go with the flow and do what you actually feel inside instead of just overthinking anything. Just much better. Oh man, for Naida, it's so old I don't even know what I used for that track, honestly. Probably there was a bunch of silent one in it, and probably massive. Yeah, coming up with a great groove is not easy, I agree. And sometimes the less is just much more again. And maybe easier if you go with a really simple rhythm, even though if it was already made by someone else, because if you go with simple things, there's definitely someone else who made it earlier. But it's just a rhythm of the groove. Sometimes I just try to clap some interesting rhythm on my hands and I try to figure out if it works or not. Like I'm sure it looks stupid, it sounds stupid, but if something works when you're clapping, it's rhythm. It must be working on a groove, in a song actually. So you can try it. My production process changed a lot since the Bluebird era. Especially in those days, I didn't really care about the overall sounding, and I wasn't really an experienced audio engineer or someone who was able to do great mixes, honestly. Those mixes sounds really bad, but I think it was kinda that era's thing, that everything else sounded bad as well. So I think producers focus much more on the sonical part of the process, in my opinion. And it took me like 10 to 15 years actually to kind of master this this skill, but I still can't say that I mastered enough, because some of my tracks still sounds not as good as I wish they would sound good. But I think my track sounds much better because, you know, in the past 10 years I figured out it's a really complex thing. Electronic dance music is the most complex kind of music, in my opinion, because it's not enough if you have a good song in it, if it works emotionally, but you have to have something really good sonically as well. And sometimes you just can't actually turn something, an idea which worked really good musically, into something which is punchy enough for the dance floors, if you know what I mean. So sometimes you have to find the perfect balance. But let me show something. For example, this is the track Obsydian, and I just noticed it today that I wrote a top melody for the drop section. Let me show it without the top melody. So I wrote actually a top melody for this, which in my opinion makes the music, it gives them some depth to the music emotionally. So the reason I felt that it's amazing that it gives some more depth to the whole music emotionally, but in the same time I felt that it sonically, I just can't manage the super soul waves and everything else to work well together with this top lead. And sometimes you have to find the perfect balance between which works musically really well and which works on the dance floors, because it's not the same sometimes. Like in this case, I just couldn't manage it properly. So I decided to leave it out because it's still much more effective on the dance floors without it. And in the chords, I still felt like there is that emotion depth what I wanted to actually create. That's why I think electronic dance music is the most complex musical genre, or especially trance music, because it's just not enough if you have a good song, but you have to you have to be sure that it's working really well on the dance floors, because it's dance music, obviously. My favorite piano is a contact sample library. It's the Alicia's Keys. That's, in my opinion, that's the best. It's my secret weapon for pianos. Alright, the intro section in Obsydian is quite rough. I love this kind of rough bass lines. Something like that. I can't really show it because this project is after the mixing session. I mean, I exported all the stems separated, and not really separated, but for example, this bass line became like one channel in WAV. So actually can't really show what I used, but I remember that it was loads of serum, and there was a spire as well, I think. Actually, I made a bunch of unique, like these kind of growl bass lines with a really interesting technique in Reactor. And actually I used them almost in all my productions since aeons, I guess, because I think those are really unique. I don't really want to tell how I made them, because it's like a really complex technique, and you know, it's really important to have your own sound. And I just made a bunch of these kind of, like this one. This small one. It's just a really rough growl bassline sound. Sometimes I just spent days on making these simple, noisy kind of sounds, and sometimes they are useful, especially if you want to make a groove like this one, like this raw, rough, dirty, farty bass lines. But I think it works quite good on the dance floors. Alright guys, I'm about to finish the live stream because I don't really have time. Yeah, and actually ABGT is coming soon, so I need to finish. But thank you so much for watching this live stream. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot that you're still supporting my music. It's an amazing feeling, and I hope I can continue this thing in the future as well. I will try to do my best, and we'll see. So long, and Obsydian came out today. I really appreciate if you grab your copy and support my music. And have a great weekend, you all guys. Thank you so much for watching the live stream, and I hope to see you soon as possible on my gigs or any Anjuna related events, or on the Facebook or anywhere else. You can follow me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/sunnylexofficial. I do live streams sometimes, so if it was interesting for you, make sure you follow me there. Thank you again guys. See you later.